I was at a company here called Career Builder. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Career Builder. It's a large jobs website. It was the largest for a time being. So it was at that organization for 4 years, held a couple different leadership and enterprise roles. From that, left to join a startup in San Francisco called Glassdoor. Glassdoor is the largest site in the world for employee reviews. So it's like a Yelp for jobs. Like, what is it like to work there? How salaries, interview questions, everything. So I was the vice president of sales there for 2010, 2011. Into that, moved out here to New York to take over sales and outreach and to build scaling for a company called Chartbeat. Chartbeat is the leader in kind of real-time data. So they show you kind of active state. Publishers are our main audience. And so did that for all of last year and then realized that there was this vice president of sales role is like this weird title that's for like grown-up businesses. It's really kind of like the epiphany that I came to that startups have very few options early on. When they're kind of thinking about scaling and thinking about growing, where startups today can either, they're typically the founders, if you're out there, you're selling, like you're trying to get it done, of course, right? Like that's a given. But then as you want to add salespeople or start to build out a sales organization, it's like, what the fuck do I do now, right? It's like, I don't know, right? So consultants today, typically, provide great like reports and say like, hey, here's a 16-page report of like what your market looks like. All these different details around like what, who you should be talking to, how you should set up your organization, or you have to go and hire, a director, a VP early, right? And that's hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's points of equity. And so, what we try to do is really in-source this. So we work with companies from anywhere between 3 to 9 months, and really help them to figure this out. So try to figure out like what is our business model, like building out decks, going on sales calls with founders, like really trying to kind of help founders to understand, what is an actual sales process like? What is like a grown-up sales process like? How does that relate to kind of like hiring and pricing and like these other details as well too? So that's kind of my background and what we do at Skaled. So we really kind of focus on companies that are early stage. Most of our companies have raised, probably some less than $1 million, and some, almost all of them less than 10. I think maybe one has raised maybe like 11 total. But it's really kind of working with entrepreneurs, early stage companies, trying to figure out these details on how do we either grow our user base, grow our client base, and then ramp, right? And what are the implications? What can we be doing today to set ourselves up for success in the future without having to go and add significant headcount full time, which I think is kind of the big issue for companies is they don't want to make that investment early on. So